Hello, and welcome to KennyRoy.com. I'm Kenny Roy. This is the Ask Videomail for the week of December 29th, 2014. Welcome to the site. To you new members, really welcome. And welcome back to the old members. The Ask Videomail is your chance to get your question, character animation, or performance answered in a video just like this one. But I need your question if I'm going to answer it. Yes. So please send it to webmaster@kennyroy.com. I go through all the questions and I answer the ones that I think will help the most people. There's no such thing as a stupid question, and it is the best way to get the most out of the site. Truly it is. It is the end of 2014. I'm glad you guys stuck with me all this time. To you new members, I'm glad you're here. To the old guys, it's been a wild ride. We're just going to keep on going right through 2015 and beyond. As long as you guys still keep coming back and coming around, I'm going to keep on doing this, all right? Nothing I'd rather be doing, so thank you for being here. And that is my heartfelt thank you for 2014. Let's ring in the new year with style, okay? Just be safe. Just be safe, okay? This New Year's, okay? And we'll see you next year. But anyway, enough about that. No Auld Lang Syne just yet. We have to get some animation questions out of the way, so check out this week's. You're going to love it. Aha. Now, I have seen definitely, enough demo reels, do's and don'ts lists to choke a donkey, and I've done one myself, but this question was actually phrased in a different way. It made me think about this in a whole new light. Of course, on every single demo reel do's and don'ts list, you have to have the, can't be too long. Over 2 minutes, it's just getting too long. Nothing not tasteful, so no like rape jokes or anything absolutely asinine like that. I mean, but you've seen those things a million times. But when I read this question, I was like, hold on a second, animation cliches. Well, that's like a whole new category of like do's and don'ts. That's a whole new sort of this is a whole new question. And I've never thought about that before, but yeah, there are a few, and I've made a list of some things that you should just not be animating. You should just not be doing with your work. And I think this is a really, really great question this week, and I'm super excited to answer it. So let's, without further ado, let's start taking a look at some of these animation cliches. Okay, shall we? All right, so. First one, and these aren't really in order of importance. They're sort of more in order of kind of how I thought of them. So don't take this as any sort of substantial ordering. But every character dies. I've seen some demo reels, particularly from beginner animators, in which it just seems like every character just has to die. Like you're doing like a ball walk and like it falls off a cliff, and then we switch to a character walk and he's running away from somebody in a duel and gets shot in the back, and then the next one. So like every single character dies. And that's a really lazy way to finish a shot, is to just do a death cycle. So take a look at your work and make sure that you're not killing more than, like, let's say the death the body count should be like not more than 1 on a 2-minute demo reel, unless you are like animating for games and like violent games where there's a lot of death. That's probably fine. But for most stuff, especially like your exercises and stuff like that, don't kill everybody. All right? It just gets tiring to watch. All right? Next up, something flies up and then lands on their head. Again, this sort of goes into the hand in hand with what I see a lot, which is kind of we're always beating up our characters. All right? And there's a whole world of animation out there besides, the slapstick and the, Acme, Roadrunner, Coyote, death and destruction. Okay, so not every character shouldn't die, and every character shouldn't have like something terrible happen to them as well. All right, so I guess to sort of simplify this or say it another way, have other performance choices that are funny besides slapstick. Okay, you got to show you have humor. If the only way you're doing it is by like stuff like something flies up out of the air and like, where's it gonna land? Clunk, and then they pass out. Then you're just playing that same note. If something flies off screen and I'm not expected to think that it's going to land directly on their head like 2 seconds later after they look around for it or after the shot seems like it's done, I'm going to scream. So none of that sort of like delayed reaction, slapstick, beating up on characters or anything like that. Characters moving in a line. This goes into the advice that I gave in a video mail, I think like a year ago. It was right before CTN last year, where I said to take a look at your animation and see if all your characters are moving in a straight line or on 90-degree turns, where like Z is forward or X is forward or some combination in between. The best animation feels like it can move in 360 degrees. Feels like those characters are very sort of free in their space. And it's the hallmark of an amateur animator that everything just goes forward or back. So very cliche for your characters to just be moving in a line. In fact, I would almost go so far as to say that it's almost worse if your characters are moving in a line if you have like ambitious attempts at some lower level tests. So for instance, if you have your beginning body mechanics or your advanced body mechanics from a school assignment and you decided to do a ninja going through an obstacle course, it's almost worse to I'm going to say it is worse. It's worse to have a really complicated, really involved obstacle course, but your ninja is like, running on like, it's like Maze Runner. If you're not familiar with that, it's a platform and like there's nothing around. It's like limbo. There's like blank space around, and your ninja is like up on boxes, and it's just going straight forward. Up on this one, backflip, lands on this one, dives forward, slices through something, but it's all in one line. That is way worse. No matter how complicated that is way worse than a much simpler one where you have a ninja slicing something behind him, turning, dodging out of the way this way, lunging forward, dodging again out of the way this way, turning all around, looking, and then backing away on a brand new axis from some other danger. All right? Way less sort of involved. It's not like this big, gigantic, complicated maze he's running through. Way better to see. Okay? So just take that in consideration. Next up, 3-point pose. This is a huge animation cliche. It's a huge like poster cliche. It's the traditional when a character lands, it's like foot planted underneath them, foot out to the side, and one hand down. Okay? Super cliche pose. Just don't use it. Crazy old, young, stupid, or drugs. Now, this has a little bit to do with the demo reel do's and don'ts that you normally see that has to do with tasteful. But this actually has more to do with your breadth as a animator in terms of your performance choices. So it's very common and therefore cliche to choose one of these things, a character that is crazy, really old, really young, really stupid, or on drugs or alcohol, because you want that over the top, really like sort of exciting performance to choose from. You want like the highs and lows, you want the high energy, so you're going to pick a drunk guy screaming at somebody. You're going to pick a crazy person, saying like, right? But, and this is something that you learn in improv. Crazy, really old, really young, stupid, or on drugs or alcohol are not performance choices. They are filters. They filter everybody towards the exact same personality. Okay? So if this person's crazy and that person's crazy. There is so little difference between their different colors of crazy that all of your performance choices are going to be cliche. And audiences don't want to see it. They're like, oh, who cares what they say, they're crazy. Again, really old, right? Because really old kind of goes together with like senile, which means crazy, but really old also like that restriction of the movement and sort of like these things that we all make fun of that like old people do. Again, it just falls into cliche. Really young, like all little kids. If you and I'm not saying that there's not that work out there. Of course, these things get animated all the time. What I'm saying is, for a demo reel, it's you're going to just be kind of hitting notes that we've seen hit 1,000 times. If you do especially personal pieces that feature someone that's crazy, old, young, stupid, or on drugs or alcohol. Okay, especially drugs and alcohol. Everybody is the same drunk. You know, you're going to have them like wobbling all around and blah, 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 blah. And if you get it from if you animating to dialogue as well, then you're getting actually an actor who was not drunk at the time when they recorded that. You're getting an actor's interpretation, which is going to be cliche as well, a cliche interpretation of a cliche performance choice, and then you're going to animate on top of that? Come on. No. You have a lot better things to do with your time. Okay? Next up, animal walks. This is a pretty simple one. You shouldn't be putting your very, very, very basic animation on a demo reel. There's just too many people doing it now, right? You just can't do it. And I would say maybe 5 years ago that you wouldn't want to put like your bouncing ball and your obstacle course and your pendulum and your beginner walks on a demo reel, but you could put an animal walk. These days I would say no. Can't even put animal walks on now. The base level, the lowest level of animation, to get a job right now. I mean, because animal walk is all observation. I mean, it's very, very little, very little technical problems that come up. It's just observation. So if you've done the observation and you've chewed the fat and done an animal walk, then good for you, and you're caught up to where you need to be, or around there. But I wouldn't put it on anymore. Okay. Blinks and head turns. This is the cliche of when you've learned that the eyes lead the head and the head leads the body. For every single one of your eye darts to lead the head and the body and to do a blink on an arc every single time. And you'd be surprised how easy it is to do that, and how many demo reels I see that have that in there every single time. Seated or blocked characters. Okay, so this is the last one. Seated or blocked characters just means if you are doing a subtle shot, there's a huge difference between subtlety and low energy. And if you're going to block your character off with a table or a bar that they're leaning on or something else, and only animate like a bust or like the torso, neck, and head of your character, you're basically cutting yourself off from like 80% of the performance choices that you could make. And if you think about it mathematically, if you're taking a huge swath of performance choices and just throwing them out and saying this is what I have left, then all of this is probably going to have been, every single one of these choices has probably been done more often, right? Because mathematically there's less to choose from, so these are probably way overdone. Okay, and it makes total sense, right? Because how much can you do like seated at like a diner table? You can be playing around with the food, you can be tapping the table, you can be doing something else secondary that has to do with the diner, you can be doing something else secondary that doesn't have to do with the diner, and you're either leaning or not, you're touching the table or not, you're looking across at somebody or maybe up at a waiter. I haven't seen much of that. I mean, but do you see that? See how like it's such a small sample of the possible performance choices if you just stand them up and get everything out of the way. Okay, head to toe posing, head to toe performance, and doing that. So that's a really great question. I'm glad you asked that. Add this to your list of demo reels do's and don'ts. These animation and cliches that you need to avoid. Thank you for sending that in. Remember, guys, webmaster@kennyroy.com. Get 2 free days out of your subscription. Every single question that you send in, there's no limit to how many you can send in. I just give it away. I don't care. I just give it away. All right? It's yours for the taking. Thanks a lot. I'm Kenny Roy. Good luck with your animation. As always, rock on.